So I just felt like reading a little bit from Malidoma Patrice Some's Of Water and the Spirit. Our elder, our ancestor, pulls me into the story. It really does. So I'm right there. So let's take a little dive into this. I'm just gonna bite off little pieces of it and let you absorb and see what you can take from the story. This is what he really experienced when he was kidnapped and brought to this Jesuit boarding school. And he says, the first time I got the chance to ask Father Mallet why he had taken me away from my family, he locked me in a room with concrete walls and a metal door and walked away, speaking in a foreign language. His mood had become arrogant and intimidating, but I did not care. I wanted to go home. I banged on the door so hard and so long that in the end, someone opened it. It was a catechist, and behind him was Father Mallet. The catechist had a whip in his hand. He spoke fluent Dagara, and when he ordered me to bend over, he called me Patrice. This was the first time someone had directly referred to me by my Catholic name. I had heard that name spoken each time Father Mallet came to the compound to see my father, but I did not know they had been talking about me. Since that was not my name, I refused to respond to it or to bend over. The catechist began to lash out at me. I could see Father Mallet smiling broadly, and I screamed insults at him, but they were diluted by pain. This was the first time anyone had ever hit me so hard. The pain of the first blow was so bad that I didn't even notice the many other times the whip struck my body. Very soon, I doubled over, then lay flat on the floor. My nerves were so tightly strung, I could not produce a sound. I realized I was suffocating, and I felt as if I were going to die. All I could hear was the rhythmic sound of the whip landing on my back. And then I felt an irresistible desire to sleep. In my dream, I saw an old familiar man whose name I could not remember. When he poured water on me, it soothed me. When I woke up, it was pitch dark. I knew the man I had dreamed about was grandfather. I tried to move, but my body was on fire and I was very thirsty. Beginning to cry again, I kept calling for my mother to bring me some water. Although my misery and the reason for my beating were incomprehensible to me, what was happening was all too real. The door opened and the catechist came in and ordered me to shut up. To this day, I remember him telling me that he was my mother now and that I should never call for her again. Wow. In my confusion, the gentleness in his voice even sounded like my mother. It would be years before I understood that tenderness is the weapon used by the torturer to win over his victim. For me, the world ended that night. I really got a lot out of this, but one of the things that I highlighted in this section was, it would be years before I understood that tenderness is the weapon used by the torturer to win over his victim. Think about that. They use tenderness to win over you. So, Of Water and the Spirit by Malidoma Patrice Some. I will be reading some more because our elder went through a lot. And this was like a process of breaking him down, of brainwashing him, of stripping him of his identity and of his roots, of anything that reminded him of home. I hope some of you can relate to this story. That is my desire. There'll be more. Peace and love. Thank you.